The Akara economy clash. First Lady Remi Tinubu versus Adesuwa Okunbo Rhodes. A massive ideological war over the soul of Nigerians' grassroots survival has completely divided the country today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm going to play this video. It's 2 videos and then we'll take it from there. Let's have it. Listen it.
Trying to give hope, and to start Akara business doesn't take a lot of money. To start roasting corn, or somebody even said about grant, you see they're saying that kuli doesn't take much. We didn't give them a loan, we gave it to them as a grant. So we've encouraged Nigerians as best as we could. What is within our hands, I have given, and I keep giving, and those are the things we've done. I remember giving for TB. When I heard there's so much TB cases, I gave 2 billion. To breast cancer,
all right, so I'm also going to play another video. This young man, his platform is called the School of Hard Knocks. He interviews billionaires and millionaires all over the world, and he made his way to Nigeria recently and interviewed this young lady called Adesuwa Rhodes. So listen in and we'll take that as well.
Question for you. Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am. Question for you. I have a channel with 24 million followers. I'm going all over Nigeria asking billionaires how they got rich. How did you get rich?
I'm in private equity.
You're in private equity?
I am.
How long have you been in the business?
For about 12 years now.
What was the most amount of money you made in a single year?
So we manage about $80 million now.
Did you say 80 million?
80 million, yeah.
Can I interview you for 1 minute? I'm going all. Is that okay?
Sure.
You manage $80 million. What's the #1 money lesson you've learned that you would give to the younger generation?
So my favorite quote is, a river cuts through rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. 99% of success is refusing to take no for an answer.
So you faced a lot of rejection.
A lot of rejection. It took me 8 years to raise my first fund. 8 years. People always told me that I couldn't make it in private equity because I was young, I was black, and I was a woman. If someone is not going to give you a seat at that table, create it yourself.
Did you go to college?
Of course I went to university.
Do you need a degree to get into private equity?
Oh no, hell no. You don't need a degree to get into private equity.
Why not?
All you need is human connection.
What country are we in right now?
We're in Nigeria. You're here in Lagos.
And what is the biggest misconception people around the world have about Africa as a whole?
So the fear is priced in, but the upside is not. 1 in 4 people by 2050 will be African. In 2050, Nigeria will be the 3rd largest country in the world by population. If you're not investing in Africa, you should be.
What is the best industry people should be looking to get into right now?
I'm a big proponent of the informal economy. It's a $1 trillion opportunity.
Informal economy?
So that is the women in the streets that are selling you your milk, your bread, your Coke, your water. They don't have a formal bank account, but it's a $1 trillion opportunity.
I know, but
Okay, that was the punchline. So speaking to governors, right? Madam Tinubu, of course, she was speaking to governors' wives, rather, at the Renewed Hope Initiative gathering. First Lady Senator Remi Tinubu sparked a fierce national debate by advising struggling citizens to focus on low capital, informal trades, specifically naming selling akara, roasted corn, and kuli, backed by government grants of 50,000 naira to 70,000 naira, while presidential aide Sunday Dare fiercely defended her by sharing that his own mother sold akara to train him. Critics online are blasting the heck out of the advice as completely out of touch, arguing that families under high food inflation want their educated children to break poverty cycles, not scale up survivor hustles. But right as the storm was raging, a massive counter perspective exploded from the private sector. In a viral street interview, Adesuwa Okunbo Rhodes, you just saw, the pioneering founder of Aruwa Capital Management, revealed how her female-led firm scaled from a $20 million fund to a staggering $80 million in assets under management. Rhodes completely flipped the script, pointing directly to Africa's informal street vendor economy as an unlocked $1 trillion opportunity that needs institutional backing rather than just survivor pennies. Sharp Edge Nation, this is the ultimate contrast of our time. On one hand, the government is handing out pocket change for roadside corn roasting, while on the other hand, an ex-JP Morgan investment pioneer is proving that the female informal market is a gold mine waiting for real capital. Is the First Lady advice a realistic acknowledgement of our present informal reality, or is it an admission that the state has no bigger economy aspiration for its people beyond survival? Ladies and gentlemen, we have a fantastic show lined up for you today. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, High Chief Oladimeji Abitogun. So I gave you a ton of information. I don't know what you want to do with it, but let's just start with Akara.
We will make a good use of the plethora of information you have sent. But let me acknowledge the fact that it's good to be back, and thank you for doing this with us every week. Now, I understand the various views being canvassed on the matter of the kind of assistance. I don't know if I should look at it as a tokenism, the kind of the token of help or grant being extended to peasants and struggling women in Nigeria at this time, and for the massive deregulation, the what has been identified as the neoliberal economic direction of the government of the day in Nigeria. Whatever Mrs. Remi Tinubu, distinguished senator and the first lady of the country, must have touted as what has been extended by way of assistance to the struggling population, would go for that. Just that the number one curiosity this aroused in me is the fact that this is supposed to be a minister of the gospel. This is supposed to be a Christian. Excuse me. It would look to me like Mrs. Tinubu has acted in breach of the golden rule laid down by Jesus Christ, that whatever your right hand has done must not be known to the left, and coming that way to begin to highlight and enumerate how much she has given to this and that. Very good. But if truly this is a Christian, a practicing Christian, a pastor so-called in the Redeemed Christian Church of God, those charitable acts should have been between her and God. Because when you do that and then you push it in the face of people, it's almost looking like you are beating down on them. And that in itself is humiliating. For some of us who have had at one point or the other to ask for assistance from government, the kind of, especially in the United States here, when you go to Social Security administration, go to their office, the kind of questions they ask you would even want you sometimes to prefer to die in poverty and approach them for that kind of assistance. And when Mrs. Remi Tinubu is pushing it in the face of the people that, oh, she did this much to the person selling balls of Akara or modes of kuli. These are Nigerian staples. She doesn't seem to know how much Akara you will fry to really do well. Mindless of the strong Akara industry in Osun that cannot be waved aside. Osun in Osun State, we are all from Nigeria, and if former Minister Sunday Dare, an accomplished journalist for that matter, who has worked with Voice of America as the service, as the head, and has done very well as a minister, we applaud him. Referring to the struggles of his mother how she sold Akara to actually provide for him. Very good. Many of us came from um, from similar backgrounds. I mean, the African woman is not lazy. She needs some help to get by in life. But for the economy that has been beaten hollow, that has been beaten down by the strange policy of presidential fiat of saying subsidy or oil subsidy is gone in one fell swoop without putting appropriate measures in place that will cushion the effects, the biting effects of such far-reaching measure. And then don't forget, Tinubu's oil subsidy only happened to be the cap, the latest in the series. Nigerians were told over and over during Abacha, during Babangida, during Olusegun Obasanjo's administration, Goodluck Jonathan's administration, that subsidies were being removed, and then ultimately we came to the we came to the Bola Ahmed Tinubu's situation during his swearing in. Everybody was trying to bask in the euphoria of a presidential inauguration. Then, whoosh, that thing was unleashed on the generality of Nigerians like that without being forewarned. And then people, the after effect, the unraveling of the Naira, further degradation of and devaluation of Naira, its worth, the quality of life, the living standard for the people, and now to rub insult on a bad injury. First Lady is pushing it in the face of people, what she's been doing. That in itself really questions our Christian credentials. This is really not going to go away very soon because it's introducing a new dimension to the entire argument that, we should look at the example of the first family. Christian woman married to a Muslim husband. Very good. Something that recommends itself for people who want to embrace tolerance, not minding that the Bible is talking of a certain standard when it comes to all this. But all said and done, Ola, what I see here is the fact that those who are minding Nigerian policies, the gatekeepers to the economy, the government, what they are struggling to do is to get an appropriate handle on what will work for the generality of the people. And at any time, yes, Akara, the Akara culture will not leave Nigeria. Selling kulikuli or making kulikuli will not leave Nigeria. It will not leave Nigeria. Thank God that we are preserving culture and tradition concerning this. But people should also look at the amount of labor that goes into that. When I look at what Minister Sunday Dare has said, and I look at the struggles of my own grandmother, who was, by the way, who was frying a fish on industrial scale in those days and was able to put 1 kobo to 2 kobo, and then was able to do very well. Until politics came in 1983, August 16, and all that got destroyed for my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, and then other people who are struggling. I've seen people right in Ayedeogbese, where I grew up, that did very well frying Akara balls. But you know what people usually did? They would blackmail them, calling them witches. There is hardly any woman that goes into frying Akara in Nigeria that people don't tell you, you better watch how you consume that Akara. The oil that is being used to fry it is it could be human blood and all that. All kind of nonsensical stuff.
I feel like that stereotype came from the movies too. They actually show those kind of things in the movies. They play those things in the movies.
Yes. There is this mama that did very well. Your grandmother, your paternal grandmother is a good friend Mama Antioni, if I remember the last name now, she did very well, building one or two houses. At the end of the day, they blackmailed her. She had to leave her in frustration. So you see all these things when they are touting what women do ordinarily in
Wow.
Nigeria to hack out a living. They do not also look at the attendant blackmail, how that economy is sabotaged, and on the larger scale, which is why it is so hard to find patronage for made in Nigeria goods. If people would condemn the suya you make, the akara you make, and all that,
Wow,
and
that's
then
sad.
you are expected to really survive doing all those things. Whoever is criticizing Mrs. Tinubu is coming from the way she has touted it. For example, would she recommend the friend of akara for our own
For our own
offspring,
children. Okay.
for our own children? Is it something that she herself would want to do?
I want to know.
Even for the breakfast table of her husband, does she fry akara, or they engage their housemates to do those things for them? So
Yeah.
akara, I mean, I have listened to the position of Dr. Ruben Abata. He described it as a metaphor. But metaphor for what?
I
Also,
would,
metaphor for,
sir, because of time,
yes.
I would like to revisit this during the special, because
Thank you very much.
also want to hear your thoughts on what the young lady, $80 million lady said as well. But ladies and
Definitely,
gentlemen,
one word for that. The Nigerian informal economic sector is
yeah,
alive and well. And if somebody thriving into it would understand that it would only thrive, it would only do well in well-populated areas of the country. Where you have population density, go for it. But where you have a sparse population, don't even try it. Don't even try it.
we'll revisit
And
it. We'll revisit it
yeah,
because I do
we're
have some
talking
thoughts
from
around that.
experience. We have
Yeah.
lived that system and we know how it works. Thank you very much.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. We have some other trendy stuff and we'll be right back. Welcome back. 7 top terrorist commanders arrested at airport returning from Hajj. Watch this video and then we'll talk.
Some time ago, the Senate president said something on the floor of the Senate that some people went on pilgrimage, some terrorists and etc. That how did they cross our borders? Because what we inherited was a fractured system. But I'm happy to tell you that even last week, Thursday, 7 of the known commanders of Boko Haram and ISWAP, at the point of coming back, were arrested at in Katsina at the airport and were handed over to the DSS. And this is only possible because NIMSI's ID is already connected with the immigration database and is already speaking to even the I-247, Interpol I-247, and we have been able to automate this. And with the new IOC that the Ministry of Interior has built, which is the first time in the history of Nigeria that will be having an integrated operating center managing our internal security processes, all our maritime and our air border system has been fully controlled, and that was evident last week. They thought it was business as usual.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. So, they said a total database and intelligence masterpiece has just taken the heads off the snake in the north. Security forces have officially confirmed the interception and arrest of 7 high-profile Boko Haram and ISWAP commanders the moment they stepped off international flight returning from the Hajj pilgrimage in Saudi Arabia. This sting operation was fueled entirely by the newly centralized identity network, which caught the targets completely off guard as they attempted to blend in with thousands of innocent pilgrims returning from the Holy Land. This operation beautifully underscores the power of the newly minted National Identity Management Commission, NIMC, Act 2026, which enforced a strict one-person, one-identity policy backed by heavy prison sentences for identity fraud, completely exposing terrorists who previously survived behind corrupted identity or identity lines. So, Sharp Edge Nation, this is a historic, undeniable victory for our intelligence agencies. Shall we call it that? It proves the state is finally building. It should prove that the state is finally building a digital net capable of monitoring borders and tracking high-value assets across international lines. I mean, I think he said Katsina Airport. Is this a masterstroke, a sign that our defense network has finally achieved total visibility to protect citizens, or does this rapid database consolidation spark valid questions about how easily centralized digital profiles can be weaponized in the future? The Sharp Edge is yours, sir.
Thank you very much. See, the short answer to this is that better late than never. But let me also tell you that Nigeria had the golden opportunity of nailing this as far back as 1999, 2000. When I practiced in Abuja as a journalist.
Sorry, by the way, that was Mr. Bumi Ojo, I think that's his name. That was in Olubumi. Yes, that was in
Olubumi Tunji Ojo, the Minister of Interior. Yes. Now, of course, you know that he doesn't stand alone anymore. There is a new office of special advisor to the President of Nigeria on Homeland Security. Now, the point I was making is that Nigeria had the opportunity of nailing this way back in 1999-2000. Those were the years Gilbert Chagori appeared before Nigeria's National Assembly and decided to poke the finger in the eyes of Nigerians, celebrating his attitude, his permissive attitude about corruption and fraud, saying the Nigerian national identity card is a big cow waiting for everybody to milk. He did that, and this is a Lebanese Nigerian who also has the United States of America citizenship today. Now, because he said that and got away with it, the point I'm trying to make was that a great Nigerian, the late Dr. Femi Adekoye, had arranged a system through his CREST consortium, CREST Computer Consortium, and they looked at the people who made the American national identification card, the identity card in America. They looked at those who made it work. He arranged all of them as a consortium in Nigeria. They produced that beautiful card that will integrate all kinds of background information, such as we have in the United States of America here today. They produced that card for President Obasanjo. They produced for Vice President Atiku Abubakar and everybody that attended the unveiling of the bid for Nigerian national identity something at the presidential villa in Abuja. It almost was a done deal that consortium would win that contract. All of a sudden, they flipped it. Maybe either Chams or Sajem were the people they gave that into, and then they messed it up. Hence the struggle we have today. Now, why would suspected terrorists, why would they not slip through the eagle eye watch of the Nigerian security system at the airports? I mean, why would suspected terrorists or terrorist kingpins, why would they not slip through the watchful eyes of airport officials? It's because you look at multiplicity of identifications Nigerians parade. You have different identity, database for this NIMSI itself, the National Identification System. You have another one through the National Electoral Commission. You have one through the banking system, and so on and so forth. And now you are telling me that the system would not permit for active terrorists to slip through the system. However, where I said it is late rather than never being caught, that it is better to be late than rather than apprehending these people. You do not know.
It's better late than never.
Never. Now, these people went to Mecca on only pilgrimage, and you do not know if the Nigerian, what's it called? The National Intelligence Agency of Nigeria. That is Nigeria's equivalent of the CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency in America. You don't know if they were keeping an eye on them, if they were keeping a tab on them, just goading them on, so that they would know their international contacts. As a journalist, we can't speculate beyond what we know as a matter of exercising our imagination and intelligence in that order. We do not know the modus operandi of all these security organizations. But one thing we must commend the Nigerian security apparatchiks for is the fact that they were able to successfully arrest them while making re-entry into Nigeria. At the point of entry, these people were apprehended. Now they are cooling off with the system. But there is a corollary to that. The efforts of the United States of America lately, collaborating actively with the Nigerian security operatives there. Remember, months before, I had made a submission here that the moment America enters into the game of chasing after these killer terrorists in Nigeria, these irresponsible ideologues who are using the excuse of poisonous religious mantra to want to go against the culture of education, schooling, and what have you. I had said then that the moment America gets into the game, it changes the entire calculus. It turns the table against them. And that is what is happening. You can imagine President Donald Trump disclosing to the entire world that in one far-reaching action, the United States was able to decapitate, that's massive, decapitate more than 190 well-known terrorist leaders in Nigeria. It's unprecedented. Since 9/11, since 9/11, the United States has not had such a huge haul of killings of murderous characters like this. And so that it is happening, it's not a coincidence, it's not an accident. It means something is spiking within that system. The giant is being woken from his sleep, and now they know that they cannot just make an industry of homicide, of murder in the name of some ill-digested, amorphous, nebulous ideology. They don't have a manifesto that you can say this is credible. You can't say they are freedom fighters. You can't say that this. I mean, you also they want to impose Arabism on us Africans. We say no to that. Also, some people will come. They say it has to be European way of life. What is wrong with us? What is wrong with our people? Why must there always be willing tools in the hands of people who want to destroy the continent and its well-established, age-old systems in terms of tradition and culture? What is wrong that they don't even see anything good about us as Africans? We have our own preferred ways, and they should leave us alone. And so now that these people have been apprehended, we think there will be a thorough vetting process. There will be a credible process of securing justice. We are not driven by vengeance. We just want justice, something that will avenge the memory of people that have been wrongfully killed. Christian, Muslim, African religious adherents, anybody. So kudos to Nigerian security people, soldiers, intelligence community, and Interior Ministry, and the new Homeland Department at the presidency. And I think people will do better, will do good by Nigerians not to politicize this. Rather, it should be seen as a credible moment for all Nigerians to celebrate something worthy. That we are not sitting back, we are not being pinned, waiting to die like hogs while people are being murdered every day. And I have more to say about this when we get to the special segment, because I think fundraisers should be rising all over Nigeria. People should be forging things with metal, iron, and steel, so that instead of expecting anybody to bring some, some light weapons from overseas, saturating the system. No, this should lead to some form of industrial spring within Nigeria. The foundries from blacksmiths, metallurgical scientists, and engineers, and then organized communities and neighborhoods, such that when these killer idiots show up, they know that somebody is waiting to counter them in every community, in every household, in every neighborhood. That way, they'll be dialoguing with their legs and they will never show up anymore. Because you know what? These are cowards. They don't even fight you, looking you eyeball to eyeball like a man. They just think they can sneak upon you and they take undue advantage. Shame on them. So kudos to Nigerian security community, like I said before. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. We have some other trendy stories coming up. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. Join the conversation. Join the conversation in the comment section. We're seeing it, so please keep continuing to join the conversation. And we'll be right back with some other trendy stories around the world. All right, so let's talk about the 2027 ballot emergency, the battle to deregister the NDC opposition. The war for the next general election has officially moved to a scorched earth legal battlefield today, following intense backdoor meetings between former Governor Seriake Dixon and Rabiu Kwankwaso regarding the survival of the new opposition alliance. A political state of emergency has been declared. Heavyweight Timmy Frank has dropped a massive bombshell alleging a coordinated institutional plot with INEC and the courts to completely deregister and delist the newly formed Nigeria Democratic Congress (NDC) and other critical opposition structures right out of the 2027 register. The camp of former VP Atiku Abubakar has immediately backed the alarm, claiming the ruling class is using legal technicalities to choke out the mega coalition before voters can even see them on the ballot. So we are watching a highly dangerous game of political chess where the candidates aren't even campaigning to voters yet. Sorry about that. Can you hear me? Yeah. They're fighting just to keep their logos on the paper, while INEC maintains it is simply executing legal regulatory cleanups of dormant and non-compliant structures. The opposition says they're being systematically executed in the dark. Is this a legitimate sanitization of our chaotic political space? I think we have about like 50,000 political parties now. Or is it a preemptive institutional demolition of the alternative ballots? Let's have your word on this one, sir. And you can correct me on the 50,000 one too.
Yes, we don't have up to 50,000 political parties in Nigeria. You just saying that with some hyperbolic,
everywhere.
With some, hyperbolic thing. But the truth of the matter is that this does the optic of what you are seeing there is not good for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And if it's looking in the wrong places for inspiration, I think that would be rather sad. It would be tragic, because if you look at people around you, all they want to see is take a dive in the ocean and then get themselves killed, and then you say, "Oh, that recommends itself as a good example." I think somebody will tell you that in itself does not really. It doesn't sound as something that is intelligent to do. It does not look like something that is wise to do. What are we saying here? What we're saying here is that Nigeria must be able to step out and prove its exceptionalism. That, okay, while everybody is losing their heads, all Nigerians will keep theirs. If we can look to anywhere anymore, any horizon, to see good examples to copy in respect of a democracy that works for everybody, at least we can look inwards and reinvent things about sense of justice that is original and traditional to us as people of African descent. This is not what this moment is not really affording the system in Nigeria. The point I'm making here is that that very attempt to act in a cowardly, sneaky, serpentine way, to sneak up. I mean, to sneak on your political opponents and then undermine them such that you want to deregister them, delegitimize them, instead of allowing them to be on the ballot as a multi-party state. You fight fair and square. Instead of doing that, you sneak on people. You want to hamstring them. You want to, gain undue advantage against them just because you are the incumbent. That is what they are doing. And some so-called judges are really offering themselves as cannon fodders, as willing tools. That's a shame. I have thought elementary knowledge, rudiments of democracy, of modern governance, the presidential system we embrace, republicanism, will teach us that there will be checks and balances. There will be this attempt to make sure that there is separation of powers, the ability of co-equal arms of government to really keep an eye on the other and review the system such that every citizen in the system will feel protected. Here is almost like derobing people in order to make them feel unworthy. And everybody is worthy of trying his or her luck in a democracy. So if the people, without using any cunning attempt, any unbridled arrogance to want to rein in opposition, you allow everybody to be on the block, they test out their popularity with the people. Like the ultimate choice, the ultimate decision as to the worthiness of any character, any person, any political party, let that be determined by the voters. But here, these people are not willing to allow for fair competition. That in itself is sad. So if Atiku now is raising a dust in support of Seriake Dixon, the founder, of Nigerian Democratic Congress, NDC, how can you imagine that an unregistered, a colorless organization, an unregistered political party, it was merely aspiring as an association to be registered, and then the NDC picked Peter Obi, I think May 3rd, or Peter Obi went to NDC May 3rd. This organization popped out of nowhere May 5th to go to the local court and then demanded the deregistration of NDC. I don't get it. The thing is so murky. In fact, you place Nigeria side by side countries like Uganda, where later Idi Amin did his rubbish, and Museveni since 1980, and the son that has been prepared to take over from him now as the chief of army in Uganda is saying, oh, he doesn't want freedom of the press and all that. There is no difference between what is happening in Nigeria and all those wimpy countries. And this is a shame. Nigeria ought to be better than this. And this is a country that has conferred on itself the toga and the wig of giant of Africa. Anyway, we conferred on ourselves such a bogus status. And now we are the ones easing ourselves out of that responsibility. Isn't that some poetic justice? For people to take us as what we want to be seen as the giant of the black race, we must conduct ourselves responsibly. We must do things that really say that we are people of integrity. This is the point I'm making. And so trying to deregister a party like NDC through backdoor means using faceless buffoons, idiots, imbeciles, calling themselves the smart politicians is really beneath them. What anybody would want to see as the responsible conduct in politics. And I think it's not too late for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his handlers to back off all these boju, hide and seek games that they are pushing. The Yorubas call it boju, hide and seek. It's juvenile, it's childish, it's irresponsible, and it's not going to take us very far. And the world will be now getting ready to poke fun at us. And if we don't want to reduce ourselves to laughing stocks all over the world, I think we should brace up to do things properly. And this morning, while NDC went to INEC to get the code that should get them listed on the portal where they can upload their candidates and what have you, they were denied based on a judgment given to a non-entity organization. It's not known to law, yet they listen to them. But people who have valid address and pedigree and real personalities are struggling to get justice in Nigeria. They are not getting. You see the contradiction in the system. You see the way the system is dishing itself in. These are things we must think deeply about. But democracy, good governance, and nation building, they are always works in progress. And nobody should write Nigeria off. Nobody should give up. Nigeria would also outlive everybody trying to pin it down and then make it look like, it's their personal fiefdom. It cannot be, and it is not. And so, while this season must have passed, Nigeria will still continue to endure. Will still continue to live, which is why everybody must contribute, must do right by the nation. Make sure that we are not trying to be smart Alex against the system, because people listen, and nature does not forget, and everybody in this ledger will be served good justice. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. Make sure you're joining the conversation in the comment section. We'd like to see it. Welcome to Sharp Edge News TV. And yes, we're going to go into our next segment. We're going to go into the weekly Sharp Edge News TV special right now. And we'll be right back. SharpEdge Nation, look at the contrast on the table tonight. In Abuja, the First Lady is telling our mothers to use 50,000 naira grants to start frying roadside Akara. While in Lagos, a female fund manager is proving that the exact same informal market is an unlocked $1 trillion gold mine. At the airport, the military is using a brand new digital identity database to pull terrorist commanders straight off the tarmac. But right now, right outside of the courtroom doors, our top opposition leaders are screaming that the very same legal and digital systems are being used to erase the NDC from the 2027 ballot. As a veteran journalist speaking to our 55-plus audience underneath 25 plus, 65, 18 plus years old, female, male, all of us together, watching a nation that is finally organizing its security, hopefully, and its economy? Or are the elites simply building an unbreakable fortress where the common man stays on the street and the opposition stays off the ballot? We're going to have the final word, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we move into our final segment. We've had the hard news. Now, let's get a sharper edge on the conversation. Joining us for our dialogue is the man himself, our editor-in-chief, publisher, and high chief, Oladimeji Abitogun. Welcome back, sir.
Thank you for bringing me back.
Yeah.
It's good to be back with our audience all over the world, and a word of appreciation for allowing us into the into their devices and the privacy of their homes. We appreciate them, and we do not take this for granted. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Right.
So I wanted you to touch on that young lady, Rhodes, Adesuwa Rhodes, the fund manager, $80 million worth. And she had some interesting things to say. Almost seems to be aligning with the first lady, but maybe not so much about frying akara. I think she was talking more so about scaling of that type of that part of the economy, and of course keeping track of it so we can actually help scale it. Because if you can't track it, then you can't scale it.
Well,
So what's your take on that?
There is nothing she can say that will convince the average Nigerian concerning how to get the economy going again. Nigeria is an economy that borrows and borrows and borrows now, not putting the money that has been, the funds being raised that way, to good use. And what does Nigeria need? The simple thing is boosting its production capacity. And how do you do that? Yes, I like a struggle saying in the first 8 years, people were mocking her, not giving her a chance, and the raising funds was difficult. I have said this elsewhere, even in my write-ups in the past. Making that economy to work, it's easy. I mean, isn't it crazy to find out that you take a loan in Nigeria with any Nigerian banks, the minimum interest is 30-something%. Who does that? Elsewhere, the people you really want to compete against, the average you will get on any loan in the United States will be 4% or thereabout. So that point of entry of a thing, you have to liberalize it, make it very, very attractive, to the extent that a young person who has just left the university, whether it's past third class, first class, what have you, should want to find entrepreneurship attractive enough to the extent that he or she can walk into any bank instead of the fraudulent arrangement that is called the Corporate Affairs Commission in Abuja, CAC, that overkill of a thing. They should look at the workability of true federalism in the United States of America, such that the different offices of secretaries to state governments in Nigeria can undo that. And then the fact that you are bearing Reuben and Associates or Sharp Edge in Abuja does not affect the fact that somebody wants to start a company in Akure or Akwa Ibom bearing the same company. Just understand that the area where they are registered is different, just like it is in the United States. I have Reuben and Associates LLC in state of Kansas. There must be another Reuben and Associates doing something else, or maybe law firm in Texas, probably in New York or anywhere. But in Nigeria, the moment you say you are Reuben and Associates, somebody, when I was going to register Reuben and Associates in Nigeria, they went to the database, the computer thing for CAC in Nigeria. What did they find? They find Rabboni and Associates. In what way is Rabboni same with Reuben? Because of that Rabboni, They will not register Reuben and Associates until we made some modifications. So these are some of the things the system must look into in Nigeria. Number one, very critical. And then the humongous amount of money you need to incorporate in Nigeria. That does not make sense. When I was going to start a company here, I nearly had $10. And I walked into the premises of a bank, picked my business name, and then whether doing business as or LLC, it was registered for me through that bank and connected to the office of the secretary to the state government in Topeka, Kansas. All right, I was in business. It doesn't have to be an overkill. So you have to start that way. But should it be Akara? There must be other things that could be done. Maybe service-related aspect in the system, maybe production-related aspect in the system. I was mentioning the issue of funding the other time. You have terrorism all over the place, people being killed, being overrun. You don't know that should be an an opportunity to stand local fundraise that is not in Yoruba land as Agbede. You know, where guns can be forged, the barrels and all the kind of things that would secure the system against bandits, terrorists, and what have you. You are not looking at that, and the government makes restrictive laws that will not allow people to have access to guns or manufacturing of all these things to be able to provide defense for the country. And instead of looking towards where they bring AK-47 or AK-49, whatever they are bringing, who says Nigeria cannot really go into research and go into the production of more sophisticated grade of weapons that can reduce all these terrorists and bandits and kidnappers to juveniles and little children when they see what Nigerians are really combating them with or countering them with. These are the things that they must look. We must look beyond Akara and Kuli industry. That in itself is a metaphor for treating Nigerians as the wretches of the earth. The people recommending Akara industry and Kuli industry, very good as building block of what's it called, informal economy in Nigeria. But there is more to that, you know. So now, is it just Akara and Kuli? Because in Nigeria, you see your neighbor selling one thing. That is what you want to do. Not creative response that, oh, what else can I do that is different from the other person or what that other person is doing. Everybody wants to do things in locksteps. Only hands behave like that. That is not the way we should operate. We should look in different sectors. People tried at the time in that country to really spring huge. I mean, look around our family. Somebody was into cashew processing, doing what's it called? Soya bean oil, and then processing so many things. Citrus farm, and what have you. But today in Nigeria, with the incidents of kidnappers disturbing people on farm plantations, that is not even easy to do anymore. So you must first talk of security before you can embrace the option being offered by Ms. Rhodes that you have mentioned. And then we were talking of terrorists being apprehended.
Sorry, a wild thought just came to me. Is it
Yes.
is it possible that she is part of the propaganda agenda to kind of like drive home Mrs. Tinubu's point?
Sir, anything is possible. Anything is possible. We're talking of Nigeria. They don't even, in talking of Akara and Kuli, they are not even looking at the other issues that are attached to that. I mean, to that situation that I just mentioned. Tell me, who is the average Yoruba? I mean, sorry, who is the average traditional woman or old person that is doing something in terms of trade and what have you in Nigeria that is not ultimately blackmailed as a wish? You are selling rice, they are saying, oh, they should look in your stew. The way that, meanwhile, it's just because of the coloring that comes out of the tomato paste that you are using that makes that into to become so appealing, like rice Oloro in Akure in those days. They will say, that thing is human blood. They are always blackmailing the system such that at the end of the day, whatever productive capability somebody or ability somebody has arranged is sabotaged. That is the mentality we carry into everything that is made in Nigeria. Those basics about our system, about who we are, must be addressed. There are traditional beliefs, but again, that must not cross the line of irresponsible superstition. So beyond the Akara metaphor and they're pushing it in the face of the people, this is how much I give, this is how much I do not give. You know what ordinary Nigerians are doing to support themselves? If you know hardly would anybody wake up in America here, would not receive a call from home about people wanting some form of remittance or the other to get by in life, in London, all over the world. Money coming from Nigerian, from the diaspora is a lot. So let not any first lady make it look like she's doing anything that is out of place. And by the way, they created the problem. Why should they now complain about providing solutions or giving assistance to people who really just want to get out of the problem? And then finally, Ola, about terrorists being arrested at the airport. Beyond the fact that the intelligence community may be trailing these people to know their contacts overseas, allowing them to slip by or have a semblance of being allowed to just go and come back. How about the state government providing funds for their pilgrimages to London, to Mecca and Medina in Saudi Arabia, and the ones who make it possible for some church Christians to have pilgrimage to Holy Land in Israel, Rome, Canterbury, or wherever they all go, taking their resources from the system, the currency imbalance within the system. Now, who made it possible? The government of Katsina that paid that footed the bill on the pilgrimage to that. You see some elements of culpability there. How people cooperate, how the system frustrates genuine desire to make sure that the security of the person, of citizens and the system is guaranteed. So all these people should be investigated, and if they are found culpable, I think this their fantastic idea of immunity while in office should now begin to have some rethink. If anybody is known to have been a collaborator with these killers, they should be brought to justice. There are other issues that we would have loved to raise, but we just have to respect the time. We need to respect time, and we have to respect our audience. So that said, I hope we will continue to be our brother's keeper. We will continue to shun the culture of violence. We will continue to do everything that will respect the humanity of our fellow human beings, and do nothing to perpetuate or to harm your neighbor. Let us just embrace each other. Let's be good neighbors. Let's love each other, and we should stop this culture of killing. It's avoidable, and it doesn't offer any attraction to anybody. So we should stop killing ourselves in the name of religion, because like Jesus Christ also asked, who amongst us has seen God? And we think we are excited, we are overly excited to defend him, to fight for him. What a paradox. What a life. Thank you very much, Ola.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. That it's for us today. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated, join the conversations, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care and God bless.